Good morning. So I've been up for a little while, but I just crawled up front. I took my wind shade down, or my sunshade down, and I looked out the window and I saw this really bright star, and I was like, what is that? Because I know Venus is like over that way, and I'm like, what star is that? And I had to look it up, and it's actually Spica, I don't know if that's how you say it, in the Virgo constellation, which is cool because I was born in the sign of Virgo, and I didn't realize that that is the largest constellation in the zodiac. Finding out all kinds of new tidbits every day. I love those crabs. They crack me up. That was a big pile of dirt. It's beautiful out here today. Let me show you. Have gone to 4 different locations to try and get a quiet spot to film this last little bit of vlog. I was starting to think I wasn't supposed to put it in.
But I wanted to talk a little bit about, what led me to this point, how I got to this point. I mean, obviously your whole life leads you up to the point that you're at now, but I mean, in regards to my health, about 5 years ago, I went to donate blood. And I usually do that a couple times a year. And when I went to give blood, I've been turned away before, usually due to low iron. I always struggled with low iron. I was like borderline anemic for all of my teenage years. And when I went this time, I got turned away, but it wasn't for iron. It was because my resting heart rate was too high. My resting heart rate was 104, and they wouldn't let you donate if it was over 100. And it was like a bucket of ice water, like just dumped right on me. And that was when I knew I would have to start doing something to start losing weight and, get my health back. Because at that point, I believe I was up to 270 pounds, I believe. And so I started, eating better. I started walking. I started just doing things, to improve my health, and nothing was working. Nothing seemed to be helping at all. I wasn't losing any weight. And pretty much right before that happened, I had started watching Life Inside a Box with Derek and Hannah, because I was interested in living tiny, and they were going to be converting a shipping container into a tiny home, and I thought that was cool, and I was interested in that. They ended up doing a tiny house. They ended up building their own little tiny house. But Hannah had lost 70 pounds, and I was intrigued, so I went over to her channel. It's High Carb Hannah, and so she talks about how she lost 70 pounds on a whole foods plant-based diet, right? So I was intrigued. I was watching what she was doing. I started going back and looking at, her videos from the beginning so I could see what she had done. And through that whole process, I had considered, going vegan because of the success, that she had. But that time it hadn't really sunk in yet. It hadn't really clicked with me. And so that was like November of 2015. And then I was watching, but I was interested. And so I started watching more videos and other people, doing it, and just documentaries. So about April 2016, I believe it was, I watched Forks Over Knives and Cowspiracy. And I was like, whoa. And those were kind of filtering in, and then I left to go to my middle son Casey's graduation. And when I came back and was on the way home from the airport, we passed by this feedlot, and there was these cows just packed and stacked on top of each other and standing in their own excrement and standing on top of each other, and I'm seeing all this. We're driving by, 70 miles an hour or whatever, but it's just all hitting me all at once. And there was this cow on top of like pile of, I don't know, hay or dirt. No, it was probably dirt. Pile of dirt, and it like staring off like, how can I get out of here? And man, it just all clicked. From watching Hannah's videos, watching Cowspiracy, Forks Over Knives, and then seeing that feedlot, everything just kind of clicked for me, and that was it. I gave up at that point. I haven't eaten beef, pork, since April of 2016. No, May. His graduation was in May. So May of 2016. The end of May. That's it. I was done. And dairy and eggs. And I was walking every day, just, and then I had started doing yoga in July of 2016. I apologize, I know this is long-winded, it's a long story. And by January of 2017, I had completely given up all animal products and was just eating solely plant-based. Whole foods, I was trying to eat, really good. And like 4 months went by and I only lost 10 pounds. Something wasn't. And I happened to come across Andrew Taylor. Andrew Taylor ate potatoes for a year and lost over 100 pounds. And I was just like, what? Potatoes? And so I watched all of his videos, saw what he did, and I was like, okay, if he can do it for a year, I can at least do it for 30 days. So the kids were coming out to see us, so I wanted to wait until they were gone. So as soon as they left on I think Saturday or Sunday, and the next day I started, July 17th, 2017. I started eating only potatoes for 30 days. And by the third day, I was ready to murder somebody for some Doritos. But after that, all the cravings were gone. Just everything was gone. I no longer craved anything, and it was easy after that point. So I just ate my potatoes every day. My favorite thing to eat. At first, I was trying to get all fancy with it, making some plant-based cheese sauces and like all this stuff, and then I was like, I ended up eating mostly baked fries, mashed potatoes, boiled potatoes, and I ate sweet potatoes as well, because regular potatoes, the only thing they're missing is vitamin A, so you have to add sweet potatoes. So I did that. After 30 days, I lost 17 pounds, but more importantly, it seemed to reset my whole system, like my hormones, everything seemed, my body just reset. And after 30 days, when I went back to eating, the plant-based, when I had beans and veggies and, just rice, salad, all plant-based that's not animal products, I kept losing weight. I just was consistently losing weight. And so it just kept coming off, and here we are over 3 years later, and I've lost 115 pounds. But it was those 30 days of potatoes that reset my whole system. And that worked for me. I'm not saying it's going to work for anybody else, but I wanted to share my story, and let you know that it's possible. Because up until that point, I had tried everything. I tried keto, I don't even know. I tried it all. Up until that point. It's just incredible. And it's funny because, it started off as losing weight, and then it ended up, it started off as weight loss, but just became so much more, like I'm so healthy now on the inside, mentally and spiritually and emotionally. It just became, it started off as something physical, like the way I looked, and yes, my health, but I used to be more concerned with how I looked, and it just transformed into being healed on the inside, and the outside just doesn't even matter. It's just incredible. God is so great. I'll have to tell those stories in another video, because this is going to be way too long if I go into that too. I still didn't completely cover everything with the weight loss. And all I was doing for exercise was yoga and walking, and not even a whole lot when I was first starting to lose all that weight. I was doing maybe 20 minutes of yoga, and I think I was walking like 5,000 steps, sometimes 7,500 steps. And then later, like a year after I had started, I had bumped my steps up to like 12,000, 14,000 steps a day. But at first, it wasn't the exercise. It's all diet. I mean, you need exercise, but really it's definitely what you eat. 99%. My friend Adrienne one time, I remember, she said you can't outrun a bad diet. It's facts. Yow, king of the rock. Didn't jump in. I don't have the kind of snacks you're looking for.